$1 billion corporation, just gathered 38 million worth of brand new coats, bags, and perfume, and burned every single one to ash. Not because they were defective, not because no one wanted them, because they were too popular. And the terrifying part? It was the smartest financial decision they ever made. Luxury. It's an industry built entirely on one human obsession, the need to signal status. Millions of consumers spend their lives dreaming of owning just one piece of this world. A single bag, a coat with the right label, a perfume in an iconic bottle. But in late 2018, a regulatory leak exposed British fashion giant Burberry, and what it revealed stopped financial analysts cold. In 12 months, the company had deliberately gathered millions of dollars of their own brand new, perfectly pristine inventory, coats, handbags, fragrances, and fed every single item into an industrial furnace. 38 million in ashes. And here's the part the headlines missed entirely. Burberry was not an outlier. From Chanel to Cartier, Louis Vuitton to Richemont, the most powerful luxury houses on earth do this behind locked doors, routinely. Now think like a capitalist for 1 second. If you have 38 million in excess stock, logic says discount it, run a sale. At minimum, donate it and claim a tax deduction. So why would the sharpest corporate minds on the planet choose to literally burn their own money? The answer exposes a hidden economic principle that most people never learn. And once you understand it, you'll never look at a luxury brand the same way again. To understand the burn, we have to leave textbook economics behind completely. Standard markets obey a simple rule: lower the price, increase demand. Basic supply and demand. Your economics teacher called it rational consumer behavior. But in 1899, a rebellious economist named Thorstein Veblen discovered a category of goods that broke this rule entirely. He found that for certain premium products, demand actually increases as prices rise and collapses when prices fall. We call them Veblen Goods, and luxury fashion is the purest example on earth. Here's why. When you buy a designer handbag, you are not making a functional purchase. You are buying a social signal. You're buying a way to tell the world, without saying a word, I have reached a level that most people around me never will. That signal has a precise monetary value, and that value depends entirely on exclusivity. The moment a luxury house runs a 50% markdown event, watch what happens. The middle class rushes in, the bags are suddenly everywhere, and the ultra-high net worth consumer, the person actually keeping the brand alive, looks around, sees their status symbol on every street corner, and walks away permanently. By discounting to recover 38 million today, you detonate billions in future brand equity. You've made your product common, and common things have no status value. Incineration isn't destruction. It's the most aggressive form of brand protection that exists. But the psychology of scarcity is only half the equation. The other half lives on the balance sheet, and it is even colder. When luxury brands ship inventory across international borders into markets like the United States or the EU, they pay steep import tariffs. Those tariffs are calculated as a percentage of the merchandise's declared retail value. So a $10,000 handbag entering the U.S. triggers an immediate customs duty, money paid up front before a single sale. If that handbag sits unsold in a warehouse, the brand has a problem. The capital is locked. The duty has been paid, and the asset on the balance sheet is losing relevance with every passing season. Here's where the strategy gets surgical. Under international customs law, there is a provision called a duty drawback. If an importer provides certified documentation, witnessed by government officials, that goods have been destroyed, the customs authority refunds up to 99% of the duties originally paid. So the brand burns the inventory. They reclaim the customs duties. They write off the manufacturing cost against their tax liability, and they eliminate the risk of a parallel gray market where counterfeiters flood the market with their designs. The burn achieves 4 objectives simultaneously. It protects the brand, cleanses the balance sheet, recovers tax capital, and eliminates competitive threats. From a pure finance perspective, it is not waste, it is optimization. But while this strategy made perfect sense on a spreadsheet, its real-world cost was becoming impossible to ignore. The global textile industry is responsible for approximately 10% of all carbon emissions on Earth, more than aviation and maritime shipping combined. Burning millions of unsold garments annually to preserve profit margins was no longer just an ethical controversy. It became a regulatory flashpoint. France moved first. In 2020, France became the first country in the world to legally ban the destruction of unsold consumer goods, including luxury apparel. Violation carries significant financial penalties. The European Union followed with a sweeping directive, forcing all member state brands to either recycle, repurpose, or donate excess inventory. The legal framework effectively closed the incinerator loop across the world's largest luxury consumer market. This created an existential operational challenge for every luxury conglomerate. If you can no longer burn, and you cannot discount without brand erosion, the only remaining lever is radical supply precision. The response has been a massive, industry-wide, capital migration into artificial intelligence and predictive demand modeling. LVMH, Kering, and Richemont are all investing heavily in machine learning, systems designed to forecast demand, curves with surgical accuracy, producing only what will sell, eliminating the surplus problem at its source. The billion-dollar burn forced the luxury industry to become one of the most technologically sophisticated supply chain operators in the world. The incinerator was replaced by an algorithm. The billion-dollar burn teaches us something far more important than accounting strategy. It reveals the fundamental nature of value itself. A designer handbag contains perhaps $400 in raw material, skilled labor, and manufacturing. It retails for $4,000, sometimes $40,000. That gap is not fraud. It is not irrationality. It is the price of a story. Every luxury brand on earth is in the business of selling a story so precisely controlled, so aggressively maintained, that people willingly pay 1,000% premium to become part of it. The product is the membership card. The price is the gate. When a brand burns $38 million in inventory, they are not making a loss. They are making a deposit into the psychological architecture that makes their story worth believing. The next time you see that iconic monogram, that distinctive logo, that signature brand color, understand what you're actually looking at. You're looking at the output of a decades-long, billion-dollar exercise in engineered human desire. You're not paying for the bag. You're paying to maintain the illusion that makes the bag matter. And corporations will set entire warehouses on fire to make sure that illusion never breaks. If you want to keep pulling back the curtain on how global business and world economies actually operate, not the version they teach in school, but the real mechanics underneath, subscribe right now. Next week, we're going inside the hidden economics of the diamond industry and the 100-year marketing campaign that made a compressed piece of carbon feel like it's worth your entire salary. I'll see you there.